Hello there, welcome to another episode of Fan Film Reviews, where I sit down and react and discuss Star Wars fan films, and I'll rate them at the end of the episode with what I call the Rotten Melu Run score. If you want to dive into the details of how I do all that sort of stuff, you can go back to previous episodes, but today we're going to dive straight into it. Today we're going to be watching the first episode, or the prelude, of BUCKETHEADS, a fan film production by Transmute Pictures. And guys, when this came out, I watched it, and then I rewatched it, and I rewatched it a third time. I have seen this fan film quite a number of times. It is honestly just spectacular on so many levels. So before I digress any further, let's watch this fan film and let's sit down and talk about it, because this is by far one of my favorites. And okay, I'm digressing. Let's start. That's beautiful. Easily one of the greatest master shots in fan film history. And what an opening. And isn't this intro just innovative? Because first of all, you get that toy kind of micro figure style photography, as it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect in this series. So that alone is unique in of itself. But also, it's just the entire idea of a Star Wars show having a bumper. Like, it's such a simple concept, but it's never been done before. And then to take it to the next level, it's a song. Like, it's a lyrical song that belongs in Star Wars. And I buy it. I love it. Like, I love the song. I love all the vibes coming off of this thing. And it gets me so hyped for the future of this miniseries, because it's giving me teases of what to expect. It's innovative, it's intriguing, and it's different. Of course, Sam Kim is just destroying it. I need Sam Kim involved with Lucasfilm.
Roger that, sir. Nova Squad is inside. That's an order, soldier. Through fire and blood.
This is the way.
Get ready. Hold. Hold. Now. Come on. Come on.
It's just so intense. You notice those rebels are hitting almost the same spot. Because unlike stormtroopers, they can hit their targets. This stormtrooper can aim, though. Oh my god. No! Sorry.
You're 6. I've had enough of those Ewoks.
Let me guess. You had it under control.
Yeah, a little help here.
My pleasure. Happy?
Ecstatic. Now let's move out. And leave this out of your field report.
Language. He's just fine.
Moving out. Commander, what's your situation? Your orders, sir.
Where's the captain?
He didn't make it.
Emperor, save us.
Fall back. Fall back. Move. Move.
Right about now, Han and Leia are resting, and Leia breaks the news that her brother is Luke Skywalker.
Save yourself, go. I'll cover you.
What's your name?
TK1977.
Your real name.
It's Varric.
Varric. That sounds like something a bantha pukes out. I'm Torin. Now look, Varric. I'm not gonna lie, this looks bad, but that's why the Empire needs every man right now. Do you understand that, soldier? Can you walk?
I think so.
All right, folks. So because I've seen this episode a gazillion times, I'm just going to jump right into my rating of Bucketheads Episode 1. I gave the prelude and a Rotten Melee Run score of 80%. The direction of this fan film is just so solid. You immediately understand the way things are headed for this miniseries. The way the characters interact with each other is very relational, and there's just this entire aesthetic, this vibe that this episode puts off, where it's like, okay, this is a concept that has been mulled over, that's been analyzed, that's been written and rewritten again for many, many years. Like, you can just sense the passion behind this project, and I can see it within the director and everything that he's put into this, which is something I wanted to add to what I wanted to say, because according to what I had looked into, let me see, where did I write that? So it was directed and produced by Marco Basau and Andy Brown, and if you look under cinematography, it's also, the cinematography was also by Marco Basau and Andy Brown. And there's something very special that takes place when you have the producer, the director, and the cinematographer all the same people. Like, when that happens, you're basically in charge of the entire thing, beginning to end. You decide everything from where the money goes to how it looks and how it feels, and again, you can sense the aesthetics, you can feel the vibes throughout the entire thing. It has a purpose, it has a mission, and you can sense that throughout the entire production. The VFX, I mean, good Lord, I mean, it was on par with the actual Star Wars films. I've never actually seen VFX that well done in a fan film before. This is #1 in terms of VFX. Nothing beats it. And the lighting inside the TIE Fighter, like, how crazy is that? Like, I mean, it all felt so immersive and real and cinematic, like I was actually watching something on Disney Plus. And I swear, every time I watch this fan film, I hear Chimera, and it makes me wonder if that's any kind of. I want to say I heard it during the space battle when the TIE Fighter, the character in the TIE Fighter mentions the Chimera, and that could very well be a Thrawn reference. If that's the case, it makes me wonder where they're putting themselves during the timeline. Well, it takes place after Return of the Jedi, but if we remember, the Chimera takes off into the unknown regions with Thrawn and Ezra. So I'm interested to know what exactly they're going for. if that's even a Thrawn reference at all to begin with. Maybe I'm just mistaken. Again, the intro is innovative and a game changer for Star Wars. The sound effects is another thing. Like, if you pay attention to the bumper and you see the different stills, the animations, you can actually hear blaster fire. You can hear the explosions with the images that are happening around you, which is just a nice little touch, a little detail hidden in there. And the music, I mean, again, Sam Kim, you're the man, you're the boss. If Sam Kim becomes the guy that does everyone's Star Wars fan films, then honestly, who needs Lucasfilms? Who needs those guys? The costuming is flawless. Everything from the Rebels to the Imperials, it all felt like it came straight out of Return of the Jedi. Also, I liked the Jedha reference. You hear that cried out by one of the Rebel commandos. I think she said for Jedha or something like that. So I thought that was a nice touch. And the sound design, I mean, it hits hard. It doesn't pull its punches. Steven Spielberg once said half of the movie that you're watching, you're actually hearing. And this is a great testament to that. You're hearing all the blast fire, the impacts, the trees shattering, the explosions, the droids, the mechanics. You hear all of it, and it's done very well, and it hits hard and efficiently. The Ewok costumes, it was a nice touch. Again, it's nice to have other things beyond aliens in your fan films. It's nice to have aliens and other things beyond just a human cast, because it just makes it feel all the more Star Wars and all the more immersive. That said, there's something about the costume design, about the Ewoks, that just felt a bit off. Maybe it was the teeth. I don't know. It just didn't look like teeth to me, and that kind of threw me off for a moment there. The shoulder droid is very interesting, and it's very Star Wars, and it's something I've never seen before. Like, it's this little droid head mount. I'm not even sure what it does beyond like an extra blaster thing, and I'm interested to see what more it's capable of doing as the miniseries continues on. One of the things I did want to point out, just to kind of change pace a bit, this is probably this could very well be my only nitpick. Actually, there's two nitpicks I have with this fan film. One is a bit significant. When the Death Star is destroyed, there's a couple of things that's happening. First of all, the explosion and the sound of the explosion is perfectly synced up. According to physics, that's just not realistic. You would see the explosion, and then because it's all the way out in space, first of all, there's no sound in space, but in Star Wars there is, so we kind of have to, go over that, ignore it for a bit. But you also have the amount of distance that sound has to travel before you actually hear it. So you have the Death Star out in space, it blows up. Realistically speaking, several seconds, I don't know, maybe between 3 and 5 seconds is when you would actually hear the explosion. So it'd be like, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of depth and the distance that sound has to travel is something that I felt was not accounted for in the VFX, in the sound effects. But you know what? I'm not going to complain too much over that, because there's something else that I do want to kind of dive into, and that's how quickly the stormtroopers seemingly moved on after the Death Star was blown up. One thing that I've seen in past fan films is, and even in actual Star Wars canon, is you have stormtroopers or Imperials that have connections to people on the Death Star, and when the Death Star was destroyed, they were actually emotionally distraught because they had just lost a whole bunch of people on there. And so the Death Star is blown up in this fan film, and they take off the helmet and they react to it for a few seconds, and then okay, retreat, we gotta get out of here, and that's it. I kind of wanted to see some tears. I wanted to see like just a little bit more time taken, maybe one of the stormtroopers falling on their knees, something that just says, oh my God, we just lost a whole ton of people that we cared about. And maybe that's something we'll see in the next episode. But I do feel like they kind of glazed over that really fast. Also, ADR, very good. Could have been better. There were moments where I felt like the performance of the stormtroopers was almost too dramatic for the lines being delivered. You got the head shaking, you got the hands moving, and I understand that like when you don't have the actor's face, a lot of the performance does have to happen in your head movements, your shoulders, your hands. What are you doing with your body to communicate what you're feeling? I understand those things, but it's very easy to go over the top. I think the Mandalorian show nailed it in terms of portraying emotion without the face. Where ADR comes in and where body mannerisms meet, there has to be a happy medium where you understand what the characters are feeling without being too expressive. And I do think that there were moments where the characters were a bit too expressive, whether in voice or in mannerisms. The last thing I do want to nitpick about this fan film is the characters. Torin. I am interested in Torin and his character, but I kind of wish we got to see and understand him as a character. Why he's with the Empire, what's his story, what is driving him. And I do believe that's something that we're going to see in future episodes, but I really want to care. I really want to care about these characters. But all I see are a bunch of stormtroopers shooting up rebels and then reacting to the Death Star being destroyed. If this were, because this fan film is so top tier, I do feel like I have to nitpick a bit harder, and I hope that that's okay. But I just feel like if you're going to start this miniseries, having an interesting timeline is important. Having spectacle is important. Being innovative in how you approach the production of this fan film is important. But the most important thing, the number one thing that makes a Star Wars film or a Star Wars fan film special is the story. Who are the characters? What is driving them? Why are we here? What are they doing? Where are they going? And if this is the prelude, you get some slack because preludes don't necessarily, they don't set the stage. Preludes don't normally set the stage as much as the first chapter of a book is. You read the first chapter of a book, you would consider that the stage being set. The prelude is normally like, hey, here's some context, and before we set the stage, here's some information that'll help you along the way. So I'm going to cut some slack because, it's a prelude. The stage is not always expected to be set during the prelude. But the episode is labeled Season 1, Episode 1. So there are some things where it's like, okay, what exactly are we trying to accomplish here in terms of the stage, where we want things, how we want things to be introduced. I took off points for that. I just think if we got to know Torin just a little bit more, somehow in some way, just got to understand who Torin was, why he's there, why he cares about the Empire, that sort of thing. Those are things that would have been important to me. I would have liked to have seen those things, and I do believe that we will get to understand more as the series continues. But other than that, The first episode of Bucketheads walks away with a Rotten Mail Run score of 80%. And one of the things that I did want to touch up on real quick is the Star Wars factor. If you do enough research on George Lucas, you will know that in his mind, anytime he's making films, it's always story is number one, spectacle is a close second, and innovation is third. Those are the things that he prioritizes. So when I rate the Star Wars factor of a fan film, those are things I keep in mind. Like, is story being considered number one? Is this does this fan film have spectacle? Is it fun to look at? Is the entertainment factor where it needs to be? And thirdly, is it innovative? Is it changing the game? I don't believe that story is number one in this fan film. I think spectacle is probably number one, innovation is a close second, and story is third. This fan film is insane to watch. I mean, it just blows my mind the things that they're able to do, which bleeds into the innovation factor. This fan film, again, like the Vader fan film, like Scorekeeper, is a prime example of the future of Star Wars, the future of the fandom, and the future of fan-made productions. If stuff like this continues to come out, Lucasfilms is in trouble, because when you put Star Wars in the hands of the fans, they're going to make what they want. They're going to tell the stories that the fans want, because they themselves are fans. Yes, Lucasfilms could listen to the fans, but unfortunately we live in a world where lots of people at Lucasfilms are not too heavily affiliated with the fans. They're not listening to them. And what's even crazier is there's rumors that some people working on Star Wars projects have not even seen Star Wars. So you have that taking place, and then you have the fandom who's like, it would be amazing if we would get this in Star Wars, or this to happen in Star Wars. And when Lucasfilm doesn't deliver, what you end up getting is fans taking matters into their own hands, bars. And that's what we're seeing here. So good job, Transmute Pictures. You've completely changed the game, and I have no doubts that you will continue to innovate. I'm looking forward to getting story as the number one priority. I'm looking forward to seeing spectacle unlike any other fan film I've ever seen, and I'm looking forward to seeing how much more you change the game in terms of independent filmmaking and the Star Wars fandom, the fandom's response to this in general. I think Star Wars is in danger because the fans are awake and they are taking matters into their own hands, and I could not be more excited. So guys, great job, amazing job, Marco. I hope I'm not butchering your last name, but Marco Bassau and Andy Brown, you guys are amazing. I'm looking forward to the future of your series, and based on the title saying season 1, episode 1, I'm really hoping that this is like a multi-season project, that you guys can get the funding that y'all need. And that's another thing. If you go to their, I think they have a Patreon. Yeah, if you go to their website, please donate. Please continue to support this, because this stuff doesn't exist without the fans, whether they're making films or they're providing funds to make the films. So continue to support, guys. Watch this video on your own. Watch it a million more times. Hit that like button. Subscribe to them. Do whatever you guys can to continue to support what these guys are doing. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode of Fan Film Reviews. And as always, may the Force be with you.